Welcome back, everybody. It's been a long break. The winter break is over, and I am so excited to be back with you all. This is Daring Discussions, the podcast where we keep it real, raw, and righteous. As always, it is me, your girl, Brittany Broaddus-Smith, the number one Christian sexologist, and your favorite girl, friend. How y'all doing? Ladies, y'all all right? Oh, it's supposed to be fellas. How y'all doing? Ladies, y'all all right? There we go. Either way, I am doing great. I am yet holding on. We are recording this in the thick of the snowpocalypse. But God is good. My children are home. There's no school. My car is snowed in. And yet we are here. And I'm so excited about today's episode. And even though I'm excited about every episode, I have one of my actual girlfriends this episode. And the fact that I get to call her my friend really shows that God loves me. But we have the one and the only Miss Yvette Henry, Mrs. Melanin herself. This is How Married Are You? Uzi's mama. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Uzi's mama.
Uzi's mama. I love that little boy. Do you understand? He has been bringing joy to my life since when he was just babbling and mumbling and just there was a wisdom behind those eyes from the moment he got here. Yeah. And I love him. And it takes a mighty woman of God to raise such a man of God.
You know, we're trying. We're out here trying for sure.
You're doing really well. And you have a bunch of kids.
A bunch.
You have a bunch. You really do. But above all that, beyond mother, beyond wife, beyond podcast host, speaker, author, which we will get into in a second. You are just a joy. And I don't want to get lost in this episode without taking a second to really give you your flowers. You're a wonderful person. You are a wonderful person. And we talked when we first met about how social media can get weird and people have to present, certain ways because it's their job. But then when you get behind the curtain, it's like, but I had the opportunity to get behind the curtain and know it's, it's true. It's real. If y'all are ever wondering, which why would you? But if you were like, is she really like, yep. She is really joyful. She's really considerate. She really honors the Lord. She really listens for his voice. She's really a great mother. She's really a great teacher. Like the girl is smart. So, but anywho,
I accept those flowers. Thank you.
You should.
The highest compliments I can receive is that when people meet me in person, they're like, "Oh, it's just like the internet." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm very consistent."
Yes. And honestly, when you think about it, as someone who, I'm nowhere near your level of notoriety, but to have manage a platform, it is actually exhausting to do one thing in front of the camera and another thing behind it.
Girl, I don't know how people do it.
Yeah.
I do not know how people do it, but it be happening.
It happens often. And sometimes I'm like, maybe it would fare me well if I could like compartmentalize and switch it on and off, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. What you see is what you get. Now I understand to a degree that not, everything ain't for everybody. And as transparent as I am on the internet, some of my business, I just, it just would serve no godly good for you to know those parts. But for the most part, this is it.
I can vouch for you too, Brittany. Very much so. Yes.
Oh, yes, I'm crazy everywhere. Y'all see?
But the thing is, like, literally, I was just at a retreat and I was talking to somebody and I referred them to you. I was like, "Oh, do you know so-and-so?" Because they could probably, help with such and such. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, you know her? I know her too." And then she was like, "Yeah, she just prayed over me and just spoke life into me." And I was like, "Yep, that sounds like Brittany. But you are that girl. You are your favorite." She truly is. Who am I looking at? She truly is our favorite girlfriend, y'all. She is that girl.
All right, now I also am truly will cry at the drop of a dime. So let's come on and move past that because that just
Yeah.
made my eyes water. Because now I have to believe you because you're not a liar.
I'm not a liar.
People just be fine because there is somebody in this world who would have just found a cute little story just to, you know how, because we don't do compliments well and we feel the need to reach for a compliment to give when one was given to us.
Yeah. Girl, I can literally send you screenshots. You want to have screenshots that you could put up here, just erasing the identity of the person.
I mean, we don't have to add it to the thing, but I do want to know.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll show you.
So we are here today. This is, as you know, this season of During Discussions is testimony service. The people who overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And outside of just personal conversations with you, I have had the opportunity to read a pre-release copy of your forthcoming book, Release, Rest, Remain, a 30-day devotional to embrace abiding over striving. And I am at the halfway. It's 30 days, but I'm taking my time through it because I don't want this to be a thing that I just do just to say I did it. Like I really want to take it in. And by approaching it this way, I found myself reaching for it through some really tough times over the last couple of weeks. Like 3 days ago, and specifically when I was getting ready to do something illegal regarding my children because teenagers, yeah, he just seems to forget that his mother is from Philly. Okay, okay, North Philadelphia, born and raised.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I
and
got
this
you.
whole
Her name.
okay, this whole gentle parenting thing, baby. I am a thug missus, huh? A
Yeah.
sinner saved by grace, and I will jerk you up. But this book, I said, you know what? Instead of saying bad words and yoking him up by his neck, I'm gonna come here. And I came here and I want to talk about this one, and I highlighted it. Give me a second. Okay. It was from day 5 where you said he's inviting us to hand him the blueprints and let him build something better than we ever could. That is so that helps me in the moment because I always find myself trying to fix whether it is myself, whether it is my situation, whether it is my children, which leaves me living in comparison and carries the weight of whenever it doesn't turn out the way I have decided it should, then I carry the weight of failure and all those things. And so when you reading things like this and just the entire book that I've been able to get through so far, to the point of the testimony, you had to have had a testimony to be able to come to this level of surrender. That's what I get when I'm reading this. Like this, you're offering a pathway into true surrender for people because that's what, rest, release, remain, and like this idea and the anchoring scripture of abiding in him that requires us to relinquish our thoughts, will, control, which is that's the true surrender. So what has been your testimony that has led you to this place where you realize, like, you know what, God, actually it's better if you do it?
Yeah. I feel like for me, from childhood, I feel like I have tried to control my environment. Growing up, I was the only girl and the middle child. I had 2 brothers, and my brothers were constantly getting in trouble, constantly getting in trouble. And I saw that. And for me, I decided, okay, I'm going to be, or in order to adapt to my environment, I'm going to be one less thing for my parents to worry about. So I was like, I'm going to get straight A's. I'm going to be a good student. I'm going to get all the accolades. I'm going to do things that don't cause my parents trouble, but allow them to be proud of me. And I think when I did that, and it's funny because it's not even funny, but it's interesting because I often, when you go through therapy and you talk through things and it's like, oh, this is like a childhood, you know, situation in which it's caused you to show up a certain
Mhm.
way in all of your
Mhm.
relationships and in life. And a part of me has been very resistant to that because I'm like, no, this is just who I am. Like, this is my character.
Mhm.
This is, I like excellence and I'm going to always
Mhm.
strive for excellence. But it did carry on to a point where I was trying to be perfect. I was trying to do all the things right. I was trying to check all the boxes. I was people pleasing in a way that caused me to kind of abandon myself.
Wow.
And it has continued on well into adulthood, and I've gotten to the point where I am exhausted. Like
Mm.
I'm just tired of having to achieve and having to be what I think everyone wants and desires me to be. And I mean, without going into detail, there was some things that have happened to me over the years. And in 2021, my sister-in-law passed away, and she, like, the grief that met me there, or the grief that I encountered there, it was compounding. It was like there was there was unacknowledged grief that I had been living with up until that point, and then when I experienced that grief, it just all like
Yeah.
blew up in my face,
Yeah.
to the point where I found myself standing at my kitchen sink like, I can't go on like this. Like, if I keep trying to push through, if I keep trying to be strong, if I keep trying to shove everything down and show up how everyone else needs me to do, I am
Mhm.
going to literally break.
Yeah.
And it was at that point, and by that point, I had been in therapy for a couple of years, but at that point, I was like, I've got to go to a therapy intensive. And so I found a 3-week intensive that I was able to attend.
Mhm.
And it was a silence and solitude situation with a Christian therapist in a very secluded area in nature, nestled in nature. And I spent a lot of time with the Lord. I spent
Yeah.
3 weeks with the Lord. I literally did not have a cell phone, didn't have a computer. I just had my Bible. I didn't have music, y'all. If I wanted music, I had to sing myself.
Jesus.
It
Jesus.
was just, it was silence and solitude. And it was like, I had no choice but to spend time with the Lord, to abide.
Yeah.
And it was during that time that I was reading my word, and I came up and I encountered John 15. I feel like sometimes when we read the word, or when you've been in church your whole life, certain things become, um, what's the word I'm looking for? We kind of just, they're just there, they're just there. But
Mhm.
at this encounter, I read John 15 and it settled in my spirit in a different way. Um,
Mm.
and one of the things that the therapist encouraged me to do upon leaving, he was like, hey, like, as you're preparing to go back, I want you to develop a centering prayer, like something that
Mm.
grounds you when you feel these moments of whatever. And so the prayer that I came up with was based off of John 15, and it was, rest and remain in the presence of the Lord and allow him to do the rest. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, that feels good, because I
Yeah.
feel like what I was doing was I was trying to control all the things. I felt like I had control of the circumstances of the people in my life, and I could
Yeah.
behave in a way to get them to act a certain way, or whatever the case may be. And so I came home after having this mountaintop experience, and no one else had had that mountaintop experience.
Wow. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here, like, everybody's getting on my nerves. I'm like, rest and remain in the presence of the Lord and allow him to do the rest. Rest and remain in the presence of the Lord and allow him to do the rest. And it wasn't working. First of all, I was trying to get people to understand the experience that I just had, and they couldn't understand it
Mhm.
because they weren't there and they don't know how the Lord spoke to me. And so, even in resting and remaining, I was still trying to control how everyone perceived me or interacted with me or received me as I had received this transformation.
Yeah.
And so the Lord dropped in my spirit. He's like, girl, you still trying to pick up things that I told you to put down. And so
Yikes.
then that's when release came in. I was like, oh, I got to release some things. Because when you are holding on to things, this isn't even a restful position. This isn't a restful state. It's not until you unclench your body and truly release that you can even begin to rest.
Yeah.
And for me, rest has really become trust. It's like you can't even rest
Mm,
until you really trust the hands that you're putting the things into.
that's
And so
good.
that is what birth, release, rest, remain into what it is today.
Yeah. And in the book, you talk about that experience that you just mentioned, and making the decision to do that came with guilt.
Yeah.
And I think about the moment when you are multi hyphenate, when you are a mother, when you are a wife, when you are a daughter, when you have all of these people pulling on you who need things from you, and not like just, people who you, not people who you don't want to do things for, like you genuinely, care for these people, love for the people, but it gets to a place where you look up, right, and your whole life is what you do for others. And when you finally decide, I'm going to do something for myself, really, because if I think of a similar experience I had, I was at the end of my rope and I made the decision to do something for myself because I was at the end of my rope. And in my mind, if I'm honest, it wasn't because I wanted to do it for myself. It was like, I need to get better so that I can keep doing more things for
The
these
other
people.
people. That's so
It,
real, Brittany.
it
That
was
is so real.
rough. And then that guilt, like, it is so like that just like cognitive dissonance of, I feel guilty for doing things for me, but I only want to do these things for me so that I can do more things for you.
Ooh.
And so, which was like, what in the world? Which I can imagine the Lord, similar to what you said, the Lord was like, that's not, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. And in the world today, this whole idea that no is a complete sentence,
Mm.
which, yes, but I feel like spiritually, or when it comes to the things of the Lord, no as a complete sentence sometimes doesn't come with the good Christian character and conduct that is required of us, but it's difficult to navigate, being kind and people pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm saying no, and I have the right to say no, and I don't owe you an explanation, but because I care about you and I'm doing life with you, me just saying no period doesn't really lend itself to healthy relationships all the time. But then when I'm giving you information as to what my no is and why I'm where I am, sometimes, if not bridled, if it's not bridled well, then it can lend into people pleasing, because I'm not just explaining my no. I want you to be okay with my no and give me permission
Mm-hmm.
for that no, or not right now, or maybe later, or whatever. Or even when requesting something, here's why I need it. I used to get to pleading the case, and when you operate opposite of that, that's where, for me, that's where the guilt comes. And so, how have you been able to navigate, or what is the Lord giving you to help see that guilt differently, or actually put the guilt, down?
Yeah. So I feel like that's where the trusting him with the rest comes in,
Mm,
because it's like we have a direct relationship with the Lord, and he's depositing things into our spirit that are saying, like, giving us discernment about how to give out our yes and our no. And
mhm,
so I am very much so like you. In fact, this week I literally had to say no, and I didn't give any explanations.
mm,
Didn't give any explanations, but it was a no that was for me. It was for
mhm,
me to move forward in a way that I know that the Lord is calling me to. And
mhm,
there was a lot of conversation outside of me about, well, why? What,
mhm,
this is,
mhm,
and it's interesting because when I initially said no, I had this inclination to give them more explanation, but then decided to strip it down and just be like, no, period.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
even still, after I heard about all the conversation that happened outside of me about my
Mhm.
no, um, I was inclined to say more and
Mhm.
decided not to, because
Mm.
my no, even like getting the courage to say no,
Yes. Yes.
like even
Yes.
being able to do that part was hard for me. Do you
Mhm.
understand? Like it was really hard for me. And so the Lord and I had a lot of dialogue about it. It was literally, and now mind you, this is a no that had been leading up for over a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is basically like, I'm sorry, but I can no longer participate in this.
Right.
And um and for me, I finally got clarity on the fact that I needed to remove myself from something. And as I sit with everyone else's disappointment or everyone else's
Mhm.
shock,
Yeah.
um, I am reminded of my why. And I believe that the Lord is going to work in me and in them in this situation. And that the no can eventually become a yes, or it can eventually become a reconnecting. But right now, it's
Yeah.
just no, because
Yeah.
I know what the Lord is calling me to do and
Yeah.
what He's calling me to. And this connection right now is not serving me in a way that is going to allow me to fully show up
Yeah.
as He has called me to show up. And
Yeah.
because I know it's Him calling me out of connection with you, I'm going to allow Him to do the work.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
going to rest and remain in the fact that the Lord is far more capable than I am to do what needs to be done in order for circumstances to change. And so um I think, and I mean, and not every no is like that. So
Right.
I feel like I'm talking around in circles, but basically recently I had to cut off a relationship
Mhm.
that was no longer serving me. I realized that I was not able to fully show up as myself because there is this wall that I had up to try to maintain this structure so that everyone else
Woo.
would be okay. And I'm ready for the wall to come down.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the wall to come down. I'm ready to be able to fully be myself. And so, in order to do that, I had to cut ties. And I know it was something that the Lord called me to. I am
Yeah.
confident in that.
Yeah.
So, with that, I am like, okay, Lord, if you want to redeem this relationship, if you want a reconnection, if you want whatever, then I'm trusting at this time, during this time, you're going to do a work in me and you're going to do a work in them.
Yes.
And that is a part of the release, because it's
Yes.
like I'm not trying to, I'm literally out here trying to play God, Brittany. Like
Woo.
I'm literally out here trying to play God, thinking that I can help this person see and they can do this and that, or you know, if I'm connected to them, then maybe they'll be inspired to change or whatever.
Yeah.
Nah, nah. That's the
That's
work of
not
the
our
Holy
job.
Spirit.
Yeah.
That is the work of the Holy Spirit. And that is
Yeah.
not my responsibility. And therefore, I release it to you, Lord.
Yeah.
I fully
Yeah.
and completely release it to you. And I don't owe them an explanation.
No,
I
you
know
don't.
you're gonna tap in over there. If they allow you to. If they don't,
Yeah.
then so be it. I'm gonna continue on my merry way,
Yeah.
growing in you.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
what I'm called to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes your no is just, you don't need to justify it. The Lord will do the
Right.
justification for you.
Yes.
That is a part of the release. That is a part of the rest and the remain.
Yeah. And I think for me, when I was speaking about like no period not being enough, is in those moments where, like in marriage, where it's like, hey, I would like to talk to you about X, Y, and Z. Yeah, no, you can't. You you can't do that now. But with your children, mom, can I? No, like I don't have to give you an explanation then. But then, and they're also depending on what the outcome, the expected or desired outcome is. No, you can't, because, like, for example,
Yeah.
my son wanted to join. There was like a mass walkout at the school
Mm.
um, in protest of ICE a couple weeks ago, and my son texted me and said he wanted to be a part of that. protest, and I told him, I said, no, you can't do that. Well, mommy, why? And I could have because I said so, and I don't
Yeah.
have to give an explanation. But I wanted, it was a learning opportunity. So I
Yeah.
said, you know what? I was like, I honor your desire to, speak out and your voice and things like that. And we can find another way to do that. We can write to our, elected officials, those type of things. But the climate of our
Yeah.
our city right now, our nation right now, as it relates to young people, and you are a beautiful, very big, six
Black
foot
male.
black, and you are a baby, but
Yeah.
to the masses, you are a big black man, and
Yeah.
you out there. Oh no, we won't go. I'm not, I can't risk.
Yeah.
I can't risk my baby for that. So it is not safe for you to show up that way. And there are other ways that advocacy and activism can show forth. You are a wonderful artist. You are beautiful. Like, you are in school, specifically a special admit school for creative writing. You can wield your pen, you can wield your coloring pencil. There's
Yeah.
another way that we can do that. So that was an opportunity where there was a no need. In my marriage, I couldn't just say no and then walk away. That wasn't healthy. And then in relationships where I really want this to go somewhere, again, and then but even with the explanation, it's no, simple as no, because I don't want to, or no, that's not something I'm interested in, or no, actually I'm tired, so I'm gonna sit this one out. That is, that's okay. But it's the explanation, as you said, that when you're trying to get them on board with something, to
Yeah.
give permission to do the things. And
Yeah.
in your situation, I can see how the Lord, um is like, I need you to take your hands out of it. And the explanation would have been you keeping your hands in it. And then sometimes that no, especially coming from someone like you, who that's not like a thing that you typically do, that shocks the system of the other person. Is like, hold, and if you would have given the explanation, it may not have landed the way that it needed to land for the Lord to do what he needs to do. There are some times that reconciliation requires full separation.
Full separation.
It requires full separation. And I had a similar experience last year with a friend group, and it's much easier now, but initially it was so hard because my equilibrium does not like loose ends.
Yeah.
And so I need to know either this is done indefinitely, or
Yeah.
or we're gonna figure it out. And then if we're going to figure it out, we need to figure it out sooner rather than later, because all of the tiptoeing around and I don't like that. I can't deal with that. And it's like the Lord was like, oh, well, you're going to have to deal with it, because I have known in my life, which again, this book is helping me combat, is I, like many people who live in flesh, is that I've made an idol out of certainty. I
Mm.
don't
Woo.
feel, huh?
Oh Lord.
My God, I don't feel well if
Mm.
I don't know for sure.
My
I
Lord.
can
Yeah.
I can endure hardships, races, when there is a finish line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how long. Like because I'm built for it. I can stick and stay as
Yeah.
long as I know when it's going to end. As
Yeah.
long as I know what's coming next. Like, I've been unemployed for 18 months. I know the Lord has kept us, my family, through this time. Like, making ends meet, raising two kids. But which I'm like, okay, God, I know you're gonna do it, but when are you going to do it?
Yeah.
And then are you going to do it this way for a while? Should I be applying for jobs? This job seems like a good idea in my head because this is money. Rent costs money. It's, A plus B equals C,
Yeah.
right? But if you're telling me no, I'm going to keep you, I need you available. You can't go to a 9 to 5 because I'm pulling you to places. I'm going to be there in a moment in 3 months. I'm going to have you traveling, and you won't be able to do that if you have a job, those type of things. Cool. If I got to sit still for 3 months and, we going to eat noodles for 3 months, cool. I'm okay. But I just need
Yeah.
to know. I just need to know. And he said, that's not faith. That's not how this works. And I'm like, who are you talking to?
No, I think that's such an important point that you're making, because there is like it's the whole subtitle is to embrace abiding
Mm-hmm.
over striving.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one thing that I really want to make clear when I talk about release, rest, remain is I'm not saying don't do anything.
Correct.
I'm not saying
Correct.
release it over to the Lord um and then he gonna make it all work out.
Correct.
We faith without works is dead.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
We are called to do things. But if we are abiding, if we are remaining in the presence of the Lord, then we have to understand that there's a wisdom and discernment that He gives us in how to move. And so, with you, Brittany, I know without a shadow of a doubt that you be remaining in the presence of the Lord. So, throughout this
Yeah.
unemployment, I understand that you aren't just sitting here twiddling your thumbs, waiting for the Lord to, perform a miracle. You are listening, you are heeding, you are doing all the things in order to move you closer to the direction that the Lord has you going.
I'm
And so
trying.
even when it comes to our no
Mm-hmm.
and figuring out when to add additional whatever, in the remaining, the Lord gives us discernment
Yeah.
and wisdom about when to
Yeah.
justify it or when to add more context. With your
Yes.
son, that was very important. He is a big black male child. He's a
Okay.
child, right?
He's a baby.
But
Yes.
he can be perceived because of
Correct.
his size as an adult male and a threat for whatever
And his
reason.
attitude, he's very hormonal.
And his
And
attitude.
any type of black eccentricity comes off as danger to the people
Yeah.
who see us as a threat just for existing.
So
So
for that, no, he needed to know, hey,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And to your, I love the part about where you just clarified that that doesn't mean not doing anything, right? Because when I got the book and I first started it, I was doing this like what is that called, like Spark, like Walmart delivery, right? And I have fibromyalgia, and so I'm like. I deal with chronic pain all the time. And I'm like, but listen, we gotta get this done. I'm getting ready to have surgery. I'm gonna be out for a while. I was, rocking. So in between waiting on orders, I started reading a book, right? And I was like, I'm just gonna do one more. Like I'm just do one more. I'm gonna do one more. Let's wait for a good one, and then I'll go. And I'm reading through this, and in the book, not only after each chapter, there are reflection questions, and one of the questions asked, um, "How do you respond to the idea of God as a gardener who tends to your life, and do you trust Him with that role?" And so I was sitting in my car in pain, but also with, bills right here. And I said, I trust him, but I'm still scared of the outcome. I'm so afraid of making mistakes. Every decision feels like an opportunity for failure.
mm,
And that is where the biggest place where I struggle to abide, I struggle to release and rest because as you said, in my abiding, I desire so greatly to please him. I
mm,
desire so greatly and fear so much
yeah,
disappointing him. I want my well done, but so my whole life is not a well done in heaven. My whole life, every decision, I
mm,
sit and wait for my well done. I
wow,
remember being, and this has been my whole life. I remember being 14 years old in boarding school praying, Lord, I want to hear your voice so clearly that even down to what I put on in the morning, I
mm,
know that that is what you wanted me to do. And so each decision now feels like, did I hear him
mm,
correctly? And so in this season, it's like the faith without works is that which we know, but where is the line between I'm supposed to do this and this is me showing the Lord that that I'm doing the work that match my faith and all of that, um, versus I'm just being lazy and I'm sitting here because I don't want to do it. And then I'm wrestling with, you know, I'm in pain, but is it that bad? And should I go home? And the Lord is like, so and when I read this, and I was like, you know what? You're right. I hear you. And like it was always like the way God told me, like, if you don't take your stupid girl, go now and get in some Epsom salt. I said yes, sir. I said yes, sir. But it
yeah,
was like what this book has done for me because it's 30 days, right? Like it's like the Lord could do anything. And while it depending on how deeply steeped into this mindset you are you
mm,
going to be a whole new person at 30? Like you said, you came down from the mountain for 3 weeks and it was like, hold on. Like you still have more work, still have more work to do. But what I think the best thing that this has given me has been a mirror
Mm,
to my, maladaptive behaviors. If you think we think like clinically or like just spiritually, like it has been a mirror to the ways in which, even in my pursuit of the Lord,
ooh,
even in my commitment to God,
girl.
I'm still in trying to control it.
Mm,
Because why am I approaching my loving Savior, my Father in heaven, the God who has numbered the hairs on my head? Why am I approaching him with the fear of disappointing him? And what in the Bible, in his descriptions, says that he is holding a ruler and a
mm,
measure to every single decision that we make? That's not relationship. That's still me striving. I may not be striving, dropping off people's dog food. But if I'm striving to measure myself up to every single letter of the word, now I'm back living under the law.
yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you came to that revelation
It's
because I
very
think,
ugly. And
girl,
I actually didn't
listen,
ask you for that, but thank you. Thank you. But I didn't ask for that when I picked this up. But
well,
also
you're
thank
welcome. You're welcome. Um, I love how you have, it blesses me to hear you talk about this devotional, because even with the devotional, I am not trying to get people to have one more thing to do
you. Yes.
in order to draw near to the Lord.
Yep.
What I truly am inviting people to into is a rhythm of release, rest, remain. It's not release, rest, remain, period. I really should have titled it release, rest, remain, repeat.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, you're going to
It's good.
release some things and then you're going to rest and remain, and then you're going to pick some stuff back up because you're like, you know what, Lord, let me just tap in real quick. But then you realize you're doing it, you realize your posture, you realize, you know what, it's not working. I I'm not really able to do this, and then you have to release it again.
All
You
over
have
again.
to trust that God is working even when you can't see it, even when you can't feel it, even when you don't really know it. I am very much so like you. If I know what's coming, I'm going to either brace myself or prepare myself for what is coming. If I know what's coming, I'm going to set myself up for, okay, girl, you just got like 10 more days, 10 more days of this, and then we're good. Okay, you can get past 10 days. 10 days is,
Yes.
whatever. But what this is it is an invitation. It's something that really can, like, sit on your nightstand or sit in your car when you're waiting for your kids to come out of whatever practice or rehearsal they got going on. And it's those moments when you're feeling like that 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 striving
Yes.
happening, and you're like,
Yes.
this doesn't feel good, this isn't even
Yes.
like restful, I need to loosen up or whatever, and you pick it up and you're like, okay, release, rest, remain. So I'm so grateful. I love hearing you talk about it because it really is about remaining in the presence of the Lord.
Yes.
And when we do that, we hear from Him in ways and through encounters
Yes.
that we didn't anticipate, and it
Yeah.
blesses us.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I love I love it, just how you explain like an invitation, because I love a devotion, the way my special unique neurodivergent ADHD, all all DD brain works, is I like stuff that I can, again, I do out of certainty. I like stuff that makes sense. This is a book. There are 30 days. I read, the questions give me a checkpoint to make sure that I can process. I got it right. Like I took whatever I took away from that chapter. These questions give me opportunity to prove, okay, yes, you actually can read. This actually understands,
Yeah,
you understand what was said by it. It gives me there's scripture there, so I can like, cross check, because not
yeah,
that you would have been wrong, but I'm like, okay, let me read about, make sure this thing would say, because
yeah,
people be saying anything. But it gives me all of that. But I have tons of devotions. Like we love a Bible plan, we love all the things, but that like formulaic approach, I love a template. It works for me in my everyday life. But what I love most about this, and I'm honest to God, I'm not just saying this because of who you are to me, but it is it lives, like it's living breathe. Like this is not the devotional that I'm going to keep on with the rest on the stack of, I wish I could turn this camera around. There's literally 17 Bibles, devotionals, commentary
Yeah.
stacked up on my desk because I love the word in that way. But they could stay stacked there forever. I'm not walking around with Strong's Concordance, in
Yeah.
my, in my thing. Now I have my Blue Letter Bible app on my phone for moments such as these. But what I
Yeah.
love about this is what I found with this is that other devotionals, I read it in the morning, I read it at night, I do it, I go on about my business. This I have it has been in my pocketbook, my book bag
Mhm.
since I've gotten it. And even though it's 30 days, this is not the thing that I need to put into my daily routine as much as this is where I'm reaching for when I'm at a crossroad. I've reached for this
Mhm.
when I was stressed. So when you get this book, when it comes out on February 10th, so make sure you order yours now because the link to order is in the description.
Mhm. Thank
You're
you.
going to you just got out of a pretty rough argument and you're kind of with somebody and you're like, "Ruh, ruh, ruh, ruh." You grab this. You get ready to throw your kids off the roof. You grab this. You on a way to a first date and you don't, you're trying to maintain, your abstinence and you're not sure if because this is the day you're going to tell them that you're abstinent and you scared that they might break up with you because, people be hunching. You grab this. You and your husband not having, the best of times, you
Yeah.
grab it. Somebody who you love has passed away. You grabbed it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just left an interview. You're on your way to an interview. Your unemployment is, you know, unemployment is running out. You grab like this is the thing that gives you that boost. You know what I'm saying? It's a perfect companion
Yeah.
to the word. You know what I'm saying? And I found those moments where I've read this because the chapters aren't super long. It's enough that just like and again, like you said, your heart wasn't, you didn't want this to be another thing that people felt like they had to do. And it is written in a way and structured in a way that like I get to do this.
Yeah.
I'm excited about doing this. And then there was the days like that day when I left from Walmart. I read that. I wrote the journal entry or the question that I read, and then when I got home, I was in John for like 2 hours, like because I was like, oh, I really need to see. I went to Strong's. I got my, we got
Mm.
Greek. What does it mean? What does abide mean in Greek? And when we talk about branches, and then I went studying in agriculture at that time and all of
Yeah.
that, and I'm like, oh shit, this is
No, for real. Like this could have gone. It took a matter of self control for me because the publishers they want a certain you
yes,
know
yes,
whatever, but I'm
yes.
like there's so much depth
Oh
in John 15 alone, and
my
even
God,
analogy of the vine and the branches and even producing fruit and harvest and so much more that could have been broken down and that has in others texts, but this for me is just a simple invitation. I share
mm-hmm.
stories of my from my own life so that you can see yourself
Yep,
in the practice of release rest remain. I don't approach the text as an authoritarian or as like a scholar of some sort. I approach it as a human.
yep,
I am a human who is trying to present the message of release, rest, remain to people who need it. And I feel like
mm-hmm.
it's a lot of people who are carrying some really heavy things that they need
Mm-hmm.
to lay down before the Lord and trust Him with it. And we don't
Mm-hmm.
always do a good job of that. And so I am really grateful to hear that you got that without me even having to say it explicitly.
It was Yeah, I was. I don't know. I don't know if you can't even. Can you say it on the thing? Like when I just so y'all know that I'm not lying. I'm in the book. Okay, just so you know that I'm not making this up. I
Y'all,
listen.
she's been sending me some pictures on via text as she's been reading through it. So I believe her. She's been in it.
And I'm just like, well, Lord, did you write this for me? Like I said, if God is pruning you, is not punishment. I'm like, are you sure? Like, I found myself reading this book and like talking back to it. And that's how I know I'm really engaging and it's getting in me because when I'm reading my word daily, I listen to the audio version of the Bible and I talk back to the
Yeah.
text. Like I'm this
Me too.
year I'm working on or trying to go through, in addition to like my in-depth study, just doing a cover to cover of the Bible chronologically. Like I'm reading the chronological Bible,
Mhm.
and we're in Job right now. Baby, I have been in my kitchen screaming and hollering at Job and his friends and that wife. You curse God at that girl. You all right? I had to pause it, girl. You know,
I
if
wish
this
we
was a
could see
different
footage of it because I know it's hilarious. I know. I believe it.
girl, is you cool? Like curse what? Child, and that I said, and that's what you get, Joe, because you should have never. I bet there was red flags before you even met that lady. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I've been, and this is how I've read it, and I was like, and I'm just like I'm talking to you because like you read like that. It's not punishment. I'm like, girl, but is it though? But isn't it
But
though?
Brittany, look at the plant behind you. I don't know if that's a real plant or a fake one.
Oh no, this is a fig. I think this is a fig. This is the Amazon fig or whatever it is, but it's no, it's not.
Oh, okay. So if you have plants in your home, like
Mm-hmm.
for example, I have this one,
Mm-hmm.
and like here, look, this hold on, hold on.
Lord.
I have to prune
Okay.
it because this
Yeah.
leaf is yellow, right? If
Mm.
I keep letting it grow amongst the green leaves, that's not good for the plant. The whole plant's
My
going to die
God.
eventually if I don't take
Mm.
care of it. So sometimes pruning is necessary in order to maintain the health of the plant, the health of the harvest, or to even ensure that the harvest happens. And the
My
beautiful thing
God.
about it is we look, I just pulled that leaf, but that's not even my responsibility in remaining. Like this plant
Mm-mm.
literally does nothing. It does
It
nothing.
just sits
I'm
there
the
looking
gardener. I'm
pretty.
the one that's pruning it. I'm the one that's
Mm-hmm.
watering it. All it has to do
Mm-hmm.
is remain. Okay.
Mm.
So for us, I think we need to visualize our lives like that. Like God is the gardener, Jesus is the vine. We are the branches. Our only responsibility is to remain. Whatever
Mm.
he prunes from us is a good thing. It hurts sometimes, but it's a good thing when you lose that relationship, when you lose that job, when you get a no and it feels painful. That is the Lord's way of protecting, of
Yeah.
harvesting what is growing in you. And so I feel like if we can just start to change our the way we perceive it, the way we
Yeah.
experience it, it would go a
Yeah.
long way. And it does not mean that it's not going to hurt. It doesn't mean that whatever, like that's another thing. Like
Yeah.
that I have come to learn in this last couple of weeks is that we can even release the hurt, the anger, the frustration. The Lord can handle all those feelings.
Yeah.
So we don't have to keep it all buttoned up. He knows we're feeling them anyway, but he
Yes.
really love it if we came to him and expressed it to him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah. And that's the other piece that this it came at a perfect time. Like my aunt and I, who I promised her that I would tell you that she loves you very
Oh.
much so. And I was like, I'm not going to tell her about this book yet. I'm just going to wait until, and I'm going to order her copy so it can just be there, like, or really say she loves you so much. But we've been like in this like having this conversation. Like, we were reading this book together. Like when doing too much begins to undo you, and I
I've
think she
heard
got
that.
yeah, I think you recommended on a podcast or something,
Yes,
you posted or something, and we started reading it together because
yes.
that was another one that I was like, I didn't ask you. Yeah, I bet you that
My
I'm not about
girlfriend
to.
wrote that book. Yes.
You're not about to keep putting me. Well, tell your girlfriend we got beef because who are you talking to?
Yes.
But so through that we've kind of been embracing the idea of lament and
Mm,
what that looks like. And she, similar to us, like give, do,
yeah.
having overcome, experiences, negative experiences that we wish we had, and then we're trying to grow from it, trying to heal from it. We make sure that our children don't have same experiences, but also like, God, why did you have to pick me for this? All of that stuff. And so in looking at lament, even as a spiritual discipline or a spiritual practice, has been wonderful in growing in intimacy with the Lord, because I think that's the another thing that this book is an invitation into is intimacy. And even when we think about romantic relationships, intimacy I define as being seen, heard, valued, and understood.
Yeah.
And this book helps to engage God in that way. He already sees, hears, values, and understands us. But how do we see, hear, value, and understand Him is in how much we release and remain. Because understanding God and valuing God is relinquishing control, is just existing as the branch and not trying to do too much. Because when you begin to put your hands in things, you may not say it out your mouth, it may not be top of mind, but there's somewhere in you that thinks that either you can do it better or that
Yeah.
not doing enough. Like you may not have such a high value,
Yeah.
consideration of yourself and think, oh, I can do this better. But you do have a lower value or consideration of the Lord if you think that He's not doing it well enough, which is why your hands are in it. And too many and understandably in life, we have had to put our hands in things. We have been in relationships and experiences where people have not done well enough, have not considered us, did not have our best interests at heart. But what this book is an invitation is again a mirror and a reminder that they are not Him. The
Mm.
systems of the world are not the will of God. The statistics that have befallen your family and everyone else is not what God has for you. His word says, I know the plans that I have
Mm.
towards you,
Yeah.
plans to prosper you. And you have to ask yourself, do you believe when it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you? Do you believe that all is all
Mm.
encompassing, or is there a part of you that thinks that there's some pieces that have been left out of it? And if you're not sure the answer to that, look at all of the things that you keep your hands in. Look at all of the relationships that you have to carry from both ends. Look at all of the experiences where you keep checking and double checking and rechecking and trying again and approaching from different, wherever you are striving and
Yeah.
not abiding is a place where your faith may be wavering or lacking a bit, and that you don't think that that part is considered in the all. Many of us, especially the listeners to this, see that as it relates to relationships.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of striving over abiding in these dating streets.
Mm.
Conversation for another day.
Yeah. Mm.
Girlfriend, I love you.
I love you too.
I really do. I really appreciate this opportunity to interview you. Yes, you are my friend, but I will never get too familiar to think that this is to not recognize this as the opportunity that it is.
Mm.
You don't just be going to every. I don't see you just on everybody's podcast now.
Yeah.
And you have a whole bunch of kids, and so
I know. Did you
setting
hear them
apart.
knocking at the door?
No, I didn't. But setting apart an hour of time when you have kids to care for is no small feat. And
Mm.
it's old dark 30 over there. It's very early.
It is. That I scheduled it early, thinking, oh, they won't wake up. And Glenn's out of town this week, so I'm like,
Oh, you
but
love me for real. So
girl,
solo parenting and you for real.
I love talking to you, period. Every conversation that I have with you on camera, off camera is always a good conversation. And I always leave feeling so encouraged. You're starting my day off with a huge encouragement. So I want to say thank you for using your platform to allow me to extend the invitation of Release Recipe. I appreciate it, girl. I really
Oh,
do.
anytime and every time. And when this goes on to be a New York Times bestseller and all the other books that you future release, please bring your tour stop through here when you go on your national tour. Let me moderate the discussion on one of them. That's we
You
have
know
a good
what?
time.
We would have a good time.
We
You
have
are
a
an
good time.
excellent moderator.
Yeah. So to close us out, just whatever closing remarks or whatever further invitation you would like to give to those listening, those who follow the Inspiration and follow you, those who are just happening to be stumbling upon this, at like the Lord is going to send this to somebody at a time when they need it. What do you have to offer them, and why should they buy Release, Rest, and Remain?
Um, I just want to affirm that whatever you're carrying, it is heavy.
Mm,
I
yes.
think that I would like to caution you against comparing what's in your hands versus what's in their hands, because when we do that, we we do a disservice to the weight that we are actually carrying.
Yeah.
So today I would like you to look at what's in your hands and think about what you're trying to control, um, and how it is serving you or not serving you. And I want you to release it over to the Lord. He has some very capable hands. I also want you to remember. That's not a part of the rhythm that I wrote about, but I do want you to remember where you've been and where he's brought you from. Because I think sometimes we lose sight of who God has been. Like his character is very consistent over the course of our lives and throughout the stories of the Word of God. And so, my invitation to you right now is to remember who God is, has been, and will continue to be in your life. And know that whatever is in your hands, whatever is heavy, whatever you are carrying right now, that you can release it into his hands. And then I want you to rest and remain in his presence while he does the rest. That doesn't mean you're not doing anything, but that means that in the abiding, you are listening, you are creating opportunities for the Lord to speak to and through you in a way that allows things to move according to his purpose and his will for your life. And so I've got a 30-day devotional that, as you've heard, it doesn't have to take you 30 days, it can take you 90 days. You can read it every 3 days or whenever you feel the prompting to do so. But check it out. Release, Rest, Remain, a 30-day devotional to invite you to embrace abiding over striving. Available now for pre order or for order, depending on when you listen to this podcast.
Yes. If you are listening to this before February 10th, it is available for pre-order. It is, if it is February 10th and beyond, go get it right now. Go get it right now. Like I said, the link is in the show notes below. Thank you so much. I hope that you all are listening. This is one of the very few episodes that I did not say vulva in, and so now just I need to say it just because people might think I'm sick. I'm not. I'm just vulva. I just have to say that because people, you know what I'm saying. But this is one of those things which really goes to the heart of daring discussions, where we keep it real, raw, and righteous. Is all in all, everything that I do is to discover God's heart for such intimacy and relationships. And before we can even get into a discussion of a sexual relationship, of intimacy, of romance, and all of those type of things, we have to first establish our relationship, a vertical relationship. Any type of horizontal experiences are going to be colored by the health of our vertical relationship. And I love that this is coming out at the perfect time at the beginning of the year when 2025 has evolved. And it's at this place where like, okay, I need to recenter, I need to be focused. I don't want more of the same.
Yeah.
And want to be that invitation to be like, you know what, Lord, you've been saying these things since the beginning of the time. You might actually know what you're talking about.
Mm.
So I'm going to listen to you, but I've been doing this way for so long. I need you to show me what to do. And
Yeah.
this is that invitation for that. Because wanting to do it the Lord's way, wanting to rest, wanting to abide, wanting to release is one thing. But actually knowing how to do
Yeah.
it, actually doing it, and then when you get into your default setting of snatching it back up, okay, getting,
Yeah.
not resting in the guilt of, oh, I messed up and just let it go. It is a rhythm. Use the perfect word. It is a rhythm, and rhythms are continual. And so I
Yes.
thank you for that. This book is wonderful. I'm not, again, if you saw the clip earlier, I actually have my highlights in here. I actually have written in here. I'm actually reading this, and it's actually been a blessing to me. So buy your copy. Buy everybody you know a copy. Matter of fact, I don't care if it's February. Go ahead and get buy for Valentine's Day. Buy for birthdays. Good.
Galentine's.
Okay, Valentine's Day, Good Friday, Earth Day, Christmas, early Juneteenth present. Get it for everybody and
Yeah.
send it all around because it is just that good. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Daring Discussions, the podcast where we keep it real, raw, and righteous. Thank you so much, Yvette. I am your girl, Brittany Broaddus-Smith, the number one Christian sexologist and your favorite girlfriend. Bye.